I'm not used to this kind of love. I'm living in your room for almost 6 months. You know, the other pastor, right? I was not living in the same room with him. It was just the flats. So it is still understandable. But in your own case, it was a one-room self-contained. And I would be lying on this guy's chest. He will tell me, I am not going to touch you. I'm not going to mess up with you. I'm going to preserve your testimony because I want you to be I know you're a role model to other ladies. And I want you to model sexual purity to them. And I will be like, eh? There is a man, as attractive as I am, that will not touch me.
Well, hey everybody, good evening, good morning, good afternoon, good whatever time of day you are catching us. If you're on the live with us, thank you so much. If you're on playback on YouTube, thank you as well for being there. This is a special live where we are remembering my season 1 guest, Greatness A.T. Olorunfemi, who was sadly, cruelly taken away from us on September 26th in Abuja, Nigeria, where she's from. And we're going to hear from everybody who wants to just pay her tribute, remember her. I personally met Greatness on another platform where she had done an interview, and I absolutely felt the impact of everything that woman of God had to share. And I reached out, and the warmth that she embraced me with, and from there on in, we became a hand and glove. And I was absolutely, how do I put it now? Like I just don't even know the emotion to use to describe what happened to me on Thursday, the 28th, when the news got to me through Victory. So with that said, guys, Minister Israel, who's our regular here, I want us to just jump in and allow our beloved sister, who's a very close friend of Greatness, to just say something, sis. Come on in. Let us know what is going on. How can we, how do we remember this awesome woman of God? Go for it, sis.
Hello, everybody. Good evening. Can be a blessing. And I am a close friend to Sister Greatness. Greatness has been an amazing person, and we kind of connected 2 years ago via a platform. We call it WIMBIS, Women in Business, Women in Politics,
Wow.
in all that. And after then, we met on that platform. After then, we went for another program and we met. And the third program, we met again. And I said, you've been following me everywhere. And she said, that's because God wants me to be in your life.
Aww.
And we laughed about it and we connected. Since then, we became very good friends. And she comes over to my place for the weekends. Sometimes she just call me, hey, Gimbia, are you at home? Because Greatness is a jolly good fellow.
She was.
She loves to enjoy herself.
Yes.
And I am on the other side. I am just this reserved because I don't go out. I think I so much believed in her that I was being able to open up to tell her certain things about me, and she's always encouraged me. She wants to jump in any project I am involved in. And she's like, we can do this, you can do this. It's so unfortunate that she had to live this way. It's so unfortunate she had to live this way.
You said something about how y'all kept meeting up at different fun moment that you remember that you had with Greatness, because we're going to remember her in that light. But despite the tears, we are going to remember her like that.
So I had so many fun moments with Greatness, but so this day Greatness came to my place and said, she wanted us to go out. There is this place that they make very good food, amala. She knows almost all the amala joints in Nigeria here. And I was like, okay, you need to take. I went there. After eating the amala, from there she said she was full. And Greatness is someone that cannot see shawarma and take her eyes off.
Tell me about it.
Oh my God.
I say that because when I met her in Abuja, she brought me some shawarma.
Oh, she loves shawarma a lot. And she was like, let's go eat shawarma. And I was like, okay, but we just finished eating amala right now. Asha followed her and we went there. The place in Abuja here, Papi's.
Yeah.
Papi's Okonkwo. And she said they make nice meals there. And of a truth, I was full, but I had to because it was Greatness.
Of course.
And while we were eating, there is this guy that was just staring at me, and I was so uncomfortable. I said, I had to turn. I said, this guy has just been looking at me. And she said, is he fighting? He like fighting. So seeing a beautiful thing, and he's going for a beautiful thing.
Right.
And I was like, but it's making me uncomfortable. And she was like, just turn your chair to the other place, just turn. If you look again, I will go confront him. If he stares at you again, I'm going to go and confront him. I was like, you cannot. We're eating, the guy came and he was like, he wants to join us. And she was like, oh, go ahead. And she was like, but you're going to pay the bill, so.
Okay.
Greatness. She was like, no, that's the price you have to pay for coming to join beautiful ladies. And the guy was and I thought, great. She just whispered to me and said, do you think it's someone you can give your contact to? I was like, she was best past. And I said, but he's paid for our meal already. She was like, is he going to beat us here? And I said, well, you asked him to pay for. I give him my contacts or you give him your contacts. And she was like, anyway, just give him your contacts. And I tell you, for the very first time Greatness is meeting that guy, she had warned him.
Yeah.
Start here. And he was like, no, he was just in a beautiful thing. He doesn't want to take his eyes off this and that. He was just, you know how guys can be. And she was like, okay. She was like, okay, my sister here, she's a very good girl. Yeah. We don't need bad people around us. We don't need bad energy. The way she started selling me out. And you know, I pinched Greatness. Greatness had to tell the guy that I pinched her, not to say anything. She is that, how do I explain it?
Yeah, Greatness lived in a world.
Very vocal.
She was very vocal and lived in a world of her own. And you know what? She did not put things in her heart. Like, I don't think Greatness was the kind of person that would be offended with you and just carry it in her heart. She was just, if you hurt her, if she need, TJ says outspoken, and we're bringing you in, TJ, in just a moment because we want to hear from the brothers as well. But yeah, that was Greatness for you. And it's funny you mentioned the shawarma. I got to meet Greatness last year, November, when I visited Nigeria. I came over for my spiritual daughter's wedding, and I pranked her. Actually, I didn't want to tell her it was that I was in the country, so I was kind of like playing games on her. I was like, well, I have this friend that I want you to meet, and she was like, well, I'm not sure. But at that moment, I literally had been to Lagos. So I had to send her, literally a selfie standing behind something that convinced her that I was truly the one and I was in Lagos. I was like, it's okay, Greatness, calm down. I'm coming back to Abuja. Because she was like, what? Maggie, you're here in town. And then this is what she said to me. Did you bring me my white husband? Go on, tell them one more time where we at.
So guess what? Maggie is live in Abuja.
if I had the luxury of time and money, I just tell you guys, but she wants to keep it secret because I'm sure you're watching this video after she has left.
Yes, unfortunately.
I would just invited singles to come and drink from her well of wisdom. I'm not joking. She's a fountain.
Oh,
just go and drink from her. Go to our YouTube channel, our Facebook, Instagram. You have loads of content for your life. You cannot miss it as a single person if you are following her. You know when they say in Nigeria, they say follow who know road.
Okay, so I know road.
Yes, she does. Oh God!
Amazing.
When next I'm seeing Maggie? Anyway, I just desire.
We will see.
I'll be in UK.
You will be in the UK. Absolutely.
And if you're the right husband that God is prepared for me, just slide into my DM. You don't need permission.
She's crazy. We gotta go. She's crazy.
Husband. Oh.
That was the assignment Greatness gave me. There was one
I always
assignment.
wanted to get married to a white man.
No, that was Greatness's heart. She already told us, she was like, I have gone through so much. She had suffered so much. She had had many heartbreaks.
My dad became someone that would come home every day. When I mean every day, like he started going to church, of course, Sunday to Sunday. And every time I go with him to church, it will always come back with, oh, Daddy Gio said you're hanging out with rich people, and it will flog me. Daddy Gio said your top is too tight. It will flog me. Daddy Gio said your hair looks kind of relaxed. It will flog me. They have 6 associate pastors. They removed the wire from the microphone and they beat me. Then when they finished beating me downstairs, the general overseer told them to bring me upstairs, and this man ran again to say, please, why are you taking this lady again? Like, you've been beating her since morning. What did she do? And the man said, I have never seen them beating an animal like this, let alone an human being. If I tell my father that I want to leave his house, he will kill me because he has beaten me into the gutter. And this is, and reflecting back, Maggie, the man I almost married also beat me into the gutter. It's sad that I attracted my worst fear.
And she was like, you know what? I want me a soft man and I want me a white man. So yeah, that was fun. So when we met last year, April, so that would have been, April 2022. She was like, Maggie, I need me a white man. You're living in England at the moment. You need to hook me up with a white man. And even when I came down, like I said, that was the first thing she said. She goes, where is the white man that I asked you to bring? I was like, Greatness, it's not that, easy. Like, I'm just going to hook up a guy and put him on a plane and say to him, come, let me take you to Greatness. But that was just the fun of Greatness. But can I just say, even at that, she was very serious. She was very outspoken, and she did not care what your opinion was in that way. Now, I'm not saying if she hurt you, I'm not saying she was, careless with how she treated people. No, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is what her heart desires were, she made them known, and she did not care whether you approved or not. Those were her own heart's desire. And I think that's so powerful, because many of us are ashamed to speak out and say, this is what I want. Greatness knew what she wanted. Yes, she was outspoken and courageous. Yes, ma'am. Yes, she so was. She so was. Listen, let me bring in Victory, because Victory was with me when we interviewed her in April of last year, because she came in on the joys and the woes of singlehood, the series, and she unpacked for us why childhood trauma needs to be addressed. And she was just so open with her childhood, and then her young adulthood that she went through, and all the things that she suffered. And then she eventually eventually, thank God she didn't. She escaped that abusive relationship that she nearly married, an abuser. Victory, let me get you to come on and say something about Greatness, because we had good times. Actually, matter of fact, sis, do you remember we had 2 shows? We had what was supposed to be the show, and we ended up doing a reaction show with her, and then we did the full show the following week.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
I do. I mean, good evening, everyone. I'm excited to be here. At the same time, is some sort of a mixed feelings being here because we're talking in past tense about greatness and who she was. I mean, we posted her because I'm not a fan of people. I mean, no offense or no offense made. I'm not a fan of posting people that dies and I don't know the people. I can just see your picture and I'd be like, oh God, I hope this person is in a better place and blah blah blah. But for greatness, it was an opportunity with the Maggie Maguire show to have met greatness, and she was such an exciting person. She was, I mean, like everyone said, she was courageous and very outspoken. She was somebody that was ready to share her experience. You know, somebody to take that courage to put down everything that she's gone through, you know, in writing, and then coming on to come and talk about it. It shows how much she's healed from the experience and how much she moved on from that experience. So every single time Greatness was talking about what happened to her, she was talking about it with so much joy. You could feel like there was no regret at all from the decision that she had to take, because she knew that it was a long time decision that she had to make, and then breaking off and learning the lessons that she had to learn from those things. In one of those shows, I think I remember telling her that the thing I took home from what she did was the fact that she gave herself time to heal and to move on. And was able to do that completely, and then coming out to talk about it really showed me so much courage that she had, that when you go through something like this. And I mean, in our generation, age and time, people would, for your decision, people would say all manner of things. She was a person that, you know, not undermining what you're going to say. She kind of like put her own destiny, her purpose in front of her. And that is something I admire so much about her. Greatness was a very lively person as well. I enjoyed watching her Instagram stories when she used to dance. And then, funny enough, recently, I think a couple of months back, she started this evangelism every morning. In this kind of weather, in the places where we are, that somebody called epilepsy, go out and carry a microphone and sing. So I'm like, oh my God, man, you're so full of many things. Like, what exactly have I not really seen? And then a few days ago, I was really reminiscing on great. Unfortunately, this wasn't her first one chance experience in Abuja. It was first. The first one, I think she shared it and how God saved her from it. Really unfortunate that, you know, this second one happened and then it had to take her life. Like, really very unfortunate. And I believe that without a doubt, for iota of, you know, greatness is a better place. We are remembering her now because, you know, she laid some sort of foundation for people out there to, you know, have something to bank on, that as a single person you can do a lot more. As, you know, somebody that wants to do something, it's okay for you to heal and then come and share your experience so that other people can learn from it. What life lived, a lot more, you know, from the moment I said it. I would simply say that greatness was love in person. Thank you so much.
Oh, thanks, V. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. That was so sweet. That was greatness for you, sis. You know, she was never ashamed. She was never ashamed. You know what I even really had to applaud her on was the fact that many of the things she went through are a taboo within the African society, right? But greatness spoke out. She spoke out. You know, she challenged parents you know, being with the fact with what she went through in childhood, you know, the so-called discipline, which really was child abuse, which she suffered at home, sadly, and you know that thrust her into many things that she had vowed that she was going to do, and you know, make people pay and all that. But thank God for the mercy of God. But she spoke about that and challenged so many African parents about how they parent, and not to make your home a what you might call it, just an abode, you know, where in an abode rather, an abode where children just stay because they don't have a choice, because you've made the home so hellish. It's just where they come in to sleep, because I guess they can't sleep under a bridge, because as a parent you've become, you know, a narcissist towards your children, you know. So I just thank God for that. And she was a massive friend of teenagers. She was speaking out to them and saying, you know, speak up, say a thing or two, and let us get you to, you know, share your experience. And I thank God for that woman. I really thank God for her. I mean, she was involved in many, many projects, and I thank God for her. There's a sister on
So
here.
I'm just saying something. Greatness started Shushan, the palace for singles.
Yes.
All everyone that were part of it are now married. I am a living testimony. Wonderful. Wonderful.
Amazing. I was just about to read that.
Wow.
Thank you so much for having me here. Sorry, I have a meeting going on. I just had to pull myself out. Thanks to Gimbia who brought me here. And thank you, Maggie, for having this. It's an honorable thing to do for such an amazing person as Greatness. You know, the one thing I will miss so much about her, before I say any other thing, is the fact that I was supposed to be her chief bridesmaid.
You know. Me too. Me too. Excuse me. Okay. You, me, and the other 16 people. We were all supposed to be her chief bridesmaid. Okay, all of us. I don't think anybody would have accepted a lesser position.
You know, we actually met about we met exactly September. That was a year ago, and it was so heartbreaking for me because when we met, just like Gimbia was saying, we met online, and then she heard I was in Abuja, and she said we got to meet physically, and then she pulled me to Papi's Metro so that we could get shawarma, and that was the first thing we ate. So I think I'm going to share some free shawarma to some people who have never eaten it because of Greatness.
Yeah. You know,
Gimbia, you're gonna help me with that, Gimbia.
Okay.
And
she introduced me to shawarma as well. I didn't know what shawarma was until I got to Abuja, and she was like, Maggie, I need to show you what shawarma is. So, and of course, suya and catfish. Suya and roasted catfish.
Exactly. Unfortunately, I didn't go the roasted catfish way because I don't like catfish. But, you know, Greatness got into my life, and Greatness was like, TJ, where have you been all this while? You're the brother I've been looking for. And Greatness would literally call me almost every night just to rant. You know, I heard you saying Greatness was healing from her trauma. The truth is, Greatness was never truly healed from her trauma. There's a whole lot she told me at night. I can't disclose, but there's a whole lot she told me. She just called me, you know, TJ, I want to rant. I'm in a situationship, and we'll start laughing, and then she will talk and talk and talk and talk, and she'll ask, are you tired? I said, no. She said, because I still have more to say. She just talks and talks. She's not asking for advice. She just wants to, you know, empty how she feels, you know. And yeah, getting close, you know. And one thing I love about her is that when she comes into your life, she's almost taking the driver's seat. It's like she's the one running Maggie's show, and then you are the
Tell me about it.
Yeah. So, you know, I've been coaching teens for 25 years now, and I had a project I did in Abuja. You know, I brought her in. She's just, I didn't bring her in, she brought herself. Yeah, she just brought herself in. And, and she came in. When she stepped into the hall, she was looking so glamorous and she stole the day. I was reminding her, greatness, it is my event. Huh? My event. You know, she one day she wanted to make everything work. There was nobody at that event that didn't experience her and didn't feel the vibe that, you know, she was releasing. And it's all positive vibes. And then pulling down to the final days, this is where it really hurts me, because we had a conversation on Sunday before she passed on Tuesday. We had a conversation. Before then, we met in Abuja. I told her to come to where I was doing a certification. We had a conversation. She told me about she's reaching out to prostitutes and all that. She gets home 12 midnight and all that. And I told her, fantastic. How can I support? And I told her, I don't want you to do these night trips. They're not safe. You know, so you do your bills. I'm going to pay for your boats and all that. And when I get to Abuja on Thursday, we're going to sit and we'll put a strategy on how to get this thing working. That was Sunday. And we're to see on Thursday. And on Tuesday, I got the news that she departed.
What day did you get the news, sir? What day was that?
The very day, Tuesday, the very day she passed up.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Yeah. It was so heartbreaking. I couldn't, because my wife knows greatness. That's your friend that talks for 1 hour. You know, I could not even express how I felt, because, you know, I just sent her messages. Greatness, wake up. This is not true. Greatness, wake up. This is not true. Kept on sending her messages, you know. But then I had to come to terms with the fact that, you know, she left us early, but she left also a great impact on our hearts. And every time you think about greatness, there's the smile, a warmth that comes to your heart, and it comes with a smile.
Absolutely.
With thoughts that would never leave so easy. You know, I would summarize it that the thought of greatness makes you really feel great. She was such an amazing person. Thank you so much for having me here, and whatever we choose to do to, you know, to sustain the legacy of her name, just count me in.
Yes, same here. You know, you guys in Abuja, of course, you are there where it's happening. We are really relying on you guys to keep us, you know, updated on everything. I mean, I heard of Greatness's demise on the Thursday, and it was from Victory, who's on here as well. And she asked me, did you know? And I literally, when I saw the announcement, I initially thought it said birthday. And I was like, for goodness, his birthday is in June. And then I looked at it again, and it said announcement with sadness. As soon as I saw with sadness, my heart literally, I just felt, I dropped. Like I just, she's, you know, she was one of those people that you could never think that can happen to. Does that make sense? Not that other people that it's happened to, they're less of human beings or anything like that, or they less mattered. No, not at all. But she was just that one person that you felt like she's with you forever and ever and ever and ever and ever. And then I was like, whoa, that was painful. So yeah, sir, we thank you so much. Thank you for all what you guys are doing, staying on it. I mean, we just saw a video of the women's affairs minister. I'm not sure how, barrister Uju. We bless God for her, that I can see she's actively doing something to follow up on Greatness's whatever situation with the hospital and even the investigation. And I know we cannot say much on that because that is still under, you know, police investigation and all that. But we thank God, because the last thing we want is for her murder to just go without being addressed. Not that it's going to bring her back, but the selfless greatness that we know she would want this to matter.
Yeah.
She would want this to matter, and she would not want this that's happened to her to happen to somebody else.
Yeah.
And that was her attitude. That was her attitude even when she was in that bad relationship that she nearly married that guy, and she came out of it, and she canceled her wedding 7 days to the day. She wrote that book so she could deliver another woman who felt she had to oblige to society, to tradition, to everything that says, as a single African woman, when you hit this age, you must be married, and damn the consequences of whoever you marry. As long as you're married, as long as society, you dance to the tune that society is playing. I thank God that she stood up and said, you know what, this is not what I want for me, and she walked away. I think that was so bold. So bold, and I celebrate her for that. Thank you so much, TJ. God bless you. Listen, I'm going to get your contacts from Blessing, and I'm with y'all. I'm with y'all on this one. I'm with y'all. And God help me, I have another trip to Abuja. Trust me, I'm going to show up. I'm going to find y'all. We're going to go eat shawarma in remembrance of greatness, okay?
Catfish.
And catfish, okay?
And suya.
And suya. Man, that stuff was so hot. Thinking about it, I need to drink water. That was hot stuff. Listen, thank you, TJ. You gotta go.
All right.
Thank you so much, sir, for being here. Really appreciate you doing this with us.
Yeah, it's such a sad thing that happened, and it was a shock. I think, like you said earlier, I think it's when I first saw the message on your post, I was like, what exactly? You're not going towards the death of the person. You're thinking it's something that happened, and then it just turned out to be that. It's just sad.
Yeah. 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 And you, sir, like me, we both knew her. Well, I got the one chance to meet her in person when I went to Nigeria, but you kind of like met, did a lot of virtual work with Greatness.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that was how I met you, actually. That was how I met you, because I saw you on one of her lives, and I was like, I would love to host Mr. Nnamdi Oboli. Please bring him on. And thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Tell us a bit about the amazing work you did with Greatness, and any remarks you want to share about her. Like I said, we just want to remember her for who she was, the bubbly, outspoken, jolly good fellow lady that she was.
Yeah, the good thing about it is that in spite of everything, I still only have fond memories of our relationship that we've had in terms of how we met and all that. She was a very lively person, so one, very difficult to refuse anything because of the way she is. So she was like, oh, you have to come, and you know how she talks. Before you know it, she's basically telling you all things, and then you're getting on her life and all that. So
What?
So she.
What? How did I get here? What? I'm alive.
Exactly. So that's how she was. She was, and the thing is that she wasn't pretentious. She was very open and very clear. So it's what you see is what you get is what you are seeing. Everything is just open. It was an open book, basically. She wasn't trying to tell you about something she's not, and everything. And she was very, very. She was both open and very vulnerable at the same time. So she was very assertive and vulnerable.
Yeah.
And she was able to tell you what she wanted, at the same time tell you her fears, at the same, just like that.
Yeah.
And in a world where we tend to hide our weaknesses, she wasn't afraid to show you her weaknesses, at the same time also appear strong. And especially nowadays where people don't see strength even when they appear, because people always judge people by parameters, the set of rules and standards. You know how we tick boxes. Did he say the right thing here, or did she say the right thing there? And we tend to judge based on those things. Meanwhile, there's a gem behind those somehow bad answers, or not so clear and well tailored answers. You know how everything has to be ready. Oh, he delivered so well. That's how we get the wrong people in office. That's how
Come
because
on.
we like the way they speak, we like the color of their eyes or their hair, and then we say, wow, that guy looks the part. But greatness didn't just want to look the part. She was the part. She was living that life. She was genuine in her resolve to do something. And another thing is that she was also very open about her intentions of where she was going at every time. So that if there's any, and she was open to criticism.
Yeah.
Very, very clear on that.
Yeah.
So if you told her something that she felt very strongly about, but you give her good reasons not to go that direction,
Yeah.
she will switch immediately. We'd had hours and hours of conversation talking about theological things and also talking about her business and her aspirations. And she also helped me a lot in terms of what I wanted to do with my books and everything and all. But so there's a lot that we're missing with someone like her,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah, that's so true. That's so true. Sister Blessing, I don't know if you want to just say anything to what Mr. Namdi has just said, because clearly you knowing what greatness was like, indeed, she was just that person that roped you in. She roped you in.
Yeah.
I mean, TJ just said that. TJ just said that. She roped you in. If greatness was here, let me tell you something. This would not be the Maggie McGuire show. This would be the Greatness Olorunfemi show, okay?
Very true. Very true.
Go ahead, Blessing. Say something, ma'am.
You know, greatness she was just that person who was driven by impact.
Yeah.
She so much loved to impact. No matter how small it is in her space, she just know that I just want to make impact. And that has been our center of conversation every time. Sometimes greatness, when she's at my place for weekends, oh God, I don't sleep.
You can't sleep. We didn't sleep. We didn't sleep. I spent my last night in Nigeria with greatness. We didn't sleep.
She was always talking about her dreams. She was always talking about the next move. You just know that this person has so much in her that she really wants to unleash. You understand?
Yeah.
It's so sad that she had to live this way. And I'm grateful that she made so much impact.
Yeah.
She didn't just die empty.
Yeah.
That I think everybody that had an encounter with greatness must have something positive to say about greatness. It's not possible. You just have to have something to say about greatness.
True.
And you know how she just come into your life, just like you're just meeting. There's no way greatness will be in a room and you don't notice greatness. It's not possible. You must notice that somebody is here. You must notice that somebody is here, even if no. She was so full of life. So full of life. And when the news came to me, I didn't sleep in my house for like 3 good days. I was practically living somewhere, going to work. I don't want to come back home because I know I share the same bed sometimes with greatness. Weekends, most especially, we go to the gym together.
Yeah.
We go for suya. She's introduced me to so many amala joints. I am a member of the School of Politics, Policy and Governance, and we had our hangouts, our graduating students. We had the hangouts at a place called Papi's, where I told you she introduced me to.
Yeah.
I couldn't go because I know I'm just going to ruin the moment for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Because greatness introduced me to that place. We were used to going to that place to eat and have fun, and I couldn't go because I'm just going to ruin that day for people. I know that. So I had to just stay back. Like, let me just stay back and not spoil the day for a whole lot of people. She had so much impact in me, and I know she's resting. Even in death, greatness was great. She's still great because I think her death has opened the eyes of a lot of people, including our leaders, to see that a lot is going on, even in the Federal Capital Territory. A lot is going on, and people are dying every day because of this police report stuff. People are dying every day. The death of greatness opened a whole lot of wounds for a whole lot of families, and people are telling their stories. My sister died this way, my brother died this way, and we believe that this is going to be the end of such kind of evil happening in this country.
Amen to that. everybody, see, I think what greatness we need to I take away from her life, and I think this is the thing everybody is taking away from Greatness's life, is regardless of whatever life may have dealt to us, right? That you cannot put your life on hold and say, because this happened to me, then I'm just going to park here and stay here and let life continue to happen to me. Greatness was a go-getter. She constantly went out and made it happen constantly. You know, and I mean, even with some of the lives that I saw she did with Mr. Numdi, the even what you're saying, Sister Blessing,
for putting up this for greatness.
thank you.
There are so many paths to greatness that I can mention. I met Greatness in 2018 in Lagos, and we met at a singles program. And then after the program, we connected, and Greatness said, you know, I'm going to go beyond this program. I'm having a gathering of sisters who are trusting God for marriage. So then she started Shushan the Palace. The aim of Shushan the Palace was to bring in sisters together, share their opinions about life, and also she usually invites people that are married, that have been in marriage for 15 years, 10 years, to come talk to us about marriage, what to expect in marriage, how you can support your spouse in marriage, and the challenges when life situation comes in marriage. And the program really blessed me. I would say that in the program, I realized my purpose while waiting for a man to marry. So I discovered that I have passion about widows, even as a single lady, while on the program. And I spoke to Greatness about my passion for the widows, and she said, I am here for you. I will support you. Any way you need support, we will do this together.
Amen.
Then the program ran for about 12 months, which I was strongly part of. And before I knew what was going on, I got connected to my husband in 20. Greatness was following up about my progress, and every other sisters that were part of Shushan the Palace. I can never forget Shushan the Palace because it brought so much joy to my life. And I am sure about 4, 5, 6 sisters who have been married even after the program. Most of them have their kids. Some have two. I have a daughter now, 3 years tomorrow. So Shushan the Palace that Greatness initiated brought so much memory, joy, hope. I still remember all those things that we talked about during the meeting.
Yeah.
I think it was once a month that we meet. And Greatness will spend our money to go get a venue for us. Sometimes she paid as much as 40,000 naira, even with what she was earning at that particular time.
Wow.
So, and she will still organize food for us to and drink with what she was earning. So there are so many parts to Greatness. I remember also last year we had the first edition of my widow's program in Abuja. We've been doing it in Lagos since 2018. And Greatness told me she's in Abuja, and I thought about who can anchor this program. Who should I turn to? I remember I said, Greatness is in Abuja now. Let me speak to her.
Right.
I called her, and immediately she said, I am available. Don't worry about it. You don't have to pay me anything. I will come and anchor this event for you. And she was there, live and direct, full of, even the women were like, I need to know this person called Greatness. I like her. She was so full of life.
Wow.
And never forget, anytime I look at the videos of the event and the photos with the women, my heart breaks. I'm like, so this is how I won't see Greatness again. So I thank God for Greatness' life because she made a huge impact in my life and in the lives of many that she met.
Wow.
So I can say again and again, and I am thankful. And also what inspired me, what she did before she passed, the evangelism, running evangelism in Abuja, even when Abuja is not a place that you can freely come out to evangelize, you have to be careful. Greatness was courageous. She was bold enough to come out and speak about Christ to many people. So I am thankful to God that I met greatness in my
Yeah.
lifetime, and I will never forget greatness. My husband still mourns greatness even up till now. When we sit down and talk about greatness, they're like, "Oh God, it is well."
It is.
We are thankful for our life, and we give God all the glory. Thank you for having me about her.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much, Tosin, for coming on. Thank you. You know, somebody has a similar testimony like Tosin. She's saying, I don't know if this is a he or she, says, I got married in 2021 and greatness was at my wedding. I used to be very active in the Shish and the Palace
Mm,
movement. There you go. There you go. So this is a woman with a massive impact. Sir, I wonder if you could. I know being that you're a Nigerian in diaspora, some of these things are a little far from you, but nonetheless, you are a Nigerian and your heart bleeds because this is your country. This is, home, whether we
Yes.
like it or not. It is where you're from. And I know it's not like you're permanently and forever not going to come back to Nigeria, but you do go back to Nigeria. What are some of the things you'd like to see done differently moving forward?
Yes, thanks. Yes, you're right about that. I'm quite passionate about the things when it comes to Nigeria generally. Now, prior to this time, I had heard about the one chance thing in Abuja
Yeah.
that was becoming more prevalent. And the reason is that they said that there were foreigners who come into the town and put foreign plate numbers at the back of each vehicle. So when they're driving off, if you take down the number, you wouldn't know which vehicle was taken. So from the front, it's a Nigerian number. From the back, it's a foreign number. So they said, okay, you have to check with the vehicle you're going to get into to see if the back number corresponds with the one in the front.
Right.
And all. I heard that, and I heard that there was it was constantly going on. One chance, people were complaining about that. Now I think I've reposted in different groups and all that. The same thing I saw. But I didn't tell Greatness. It just didn't connect that this was happening in Abuja, and I should have told her as well to watch out for such things as well, which is something I still feel badly about. But that has been going on, and it hurts because the police are aware of these things. These things don't happen in a vacuum, and there's no one to do something. So the police are aware that this is going on. And when something becomes so rampant to the point that people are talking about it and nobody's doing something, then there's the entire blame rests on the government of the day, because that's their job. And I'm not even talking about the government that comes in. It's not a party or which party is them or which president. The police have a primary duty to save lives, to secure lives in the society. And that's their only job. That's the only thing that qualifies you to be a policeman in the first place.
Right.
And I felt that should have been handled first. Then coming to the part of, okay, the incident has happened and there's a crime taking place, and you go to a hospital, and then somebody who had taken the Hippocratic oath to save lives says, no, I will not treat this person because of a law that has already been done away with. Now, I thought that maybe they didn't communicate this law very well, because I remember they had they talked about it in 2017 when they enacted the law specifically to eradicate all this.
Yeah.
And I thought, okay, maybe the problem is communication. They didn't communicate those laws to every hospital, but that's not true.
Right.
This was a major hospital that knew exactly what this whole thing was.
Yeah.
And they refused to treat. I'm not saying that would have saved her life or not. That's not the issue. The issue is that you didn't even try to say, let me at least, be a good Samaritan. Someone has brought this person, just try at least and save the life. If you have to, bind them somewhere and call the police, but at least be treating the person until you know what's going on, because at that moment the hospital played judge and jury. They condemned the person, they prejudged the person to be wrong, and then acted on that false premise to deny someone health care that would have saved their lives. That is criminal. And then I found out, okay, the laws are not stringent enough. They give you 5 years or 50,000 fine. Hey, come on. If you neglect someone from treating them, you can even give them 100,000 just to get away from you. So it's not good enough.
Right.
Something much more than that has to be done to people who deliberately take lives, because you can either kill somebody or you die by negligence, which is what they call depraved indifference.
Right.
It's like it's third degree murder.
Absolutely.
In that sense. So if you say you see someone helping, it's kind of like if I go to I'm right by the riverside or a pool and I see a baby drowning and I do nothing, I should be prosecuted because that's called depraved indifference.
Right.
I did nothing to save that baby when I could. So looking at it from a different perspective is not just to say, there's a law that is keeping us from doing that. No, document them. If you're afraid of the police doing something, record it and tell them this is what I did. Then you can go to court and then fight that, but at least the life of that person is intact.
Right.
So that's the problem I have with that whole death. It was needless.
Yeah.
Like I said, they are not God. We don't know whether she would have survived or not survived.
Right.
But at the very least, the one thing they could have done was to do the work of preventing that death.
Yeah.
And then we could have said, okay, now we know that those people are the ones that we have to face for them. But we can't have another law that we're trying to... I mean, you're fighting criminals and then you're going to hospitals who are telling you, okay, you have a gunshot wound. Okay, if a criminal comes to me and holds me up on this and they shoot me, should I die because I'm being robbed?
Right.
Or... I mean, even the law initially when it was made is silly. It's stupid in every way it is. But whoever thought of it, I don't know, probably somebody who didn't go to school. But I don't understand how they could have even brought up a law like that. It must have been something that came an offshoot of a military government. But we've been in civilian government for about how many years now? 24 years now.
Right.
So why not? Why is a law like that even in existence at all? And I also understand that police sometimes can be very brutal in terms of how they adhere to the rule of law.
Right.
So they can prosecute someone for a law that has been abolished, but the policeman has not been educated enough to do that. But it's still irrelevant in saving somebody's life. At that moment, the only thing you should be thinking of is how do I save this person's life? Because there's an immediate need, and you swore an oath, a Hippocratic oath, to save lives. And even just for basic humanity, we have to start having basic compassion for our own selves. You know, Nigerians are losing their compassion for themselves.
Right.
We tend to only treat people that we know fully, but that's not how it works. And this has happened in so many cases. There was a case of a minister years ago in Nigeria where he was involved in a motor accident. And I'm talking about another sector that is also involved. Those who are in government who do not take time to make sure that emergency cases are really taken care of properly, that the basic amenities are in all the hospitals, no matter how obscure the hospital may be.
Yeah.
He had an accident on the road. I think his child died instantly. So he was the only one that was taken to the nearest hospital that was ill-equipped to handle an emergency. He had all the money. This was the time before we even had mobile phones and everything. We only had the very expensive, only the bourgeois of society had the not 90 number, the 0090 number. So he calls Asturok. This was during Babangida's time. And then they fly a private jet to come and pick him up from the hospital because he was ill-equipped, so they can fly him to Asturok Clinic so that they can treat him there. As he touches down on the airport in Abuja, he dies. He could have been saved if the policies that he was when he was a minister and all the other things was in place to save his life. So it's a vicious cycle. It's government, it's the people themselves who there was a case of a man who his family member died because they were into drugs, fake drugs. And it just so happened that one of the drugs that they supplied was used as an emergency for somebody in the family, and that person died because they supplied those drugs. So everybody has to watch out. You have to be your brother's keeper in many ways. You have to love your neighbor. In whatever you do, your ethics must shine forth. That's why the Christian value is something that brings that soul of a nation together to heighten up our conscience so that we can do things, because you never know when it will turn back and it will bite you as well.
Yeah.
So those are just different. So we have the health sector that is not doing what they have, the overseers of the health sector like the NAFDAC and all the rest in terms of drugs. They have the police, the security system that is supposed to be in place, regardless of whether the government is bad or not. It's irrelevant. Their primary job is to secure lives, the policemen, and they're not doing it. They're not acting, proactively to stop these things from happening. The one chance and all, we hear of it, and the Nigerian police, they know what to do. Crime doesn't happen when the Nigerian police is serious about cracking down on crime, because we've seen it happen so many times. So it's kind of like a complicit thing. You just stay and you're just aloof and allowing people to die needlessly. And now we're losing the very thing that defines our nation. Nigeria is great because of the people, not necessarily only because of the natural resources. And we have a lot of abundance. We have an abundance of natural resources, but the human resources are even much more, because we use it to go to other nations and build those nations for them.
This is it. This is it. Yeah. I mean, that's so accurate, sir. That is so accurate. My thing on this entire situation is like what I said earlier, that knowing our sister, if this is what has now happened, since this is what has happened to her, may we not let this just slide and let it be that her life puts an end to all this, that things finally turn around, especially with those kind of laws that just do not make sense. Because everybody who has heard this, we're asking, excuse me, is it not when somebody is alive, or even like you said, sir, even if she had to die, but at least let her die on the resuscitation table? How about that? How about, because the truth of the matter is, if you look at that video, and I know we saw that confrontation that the women's affairs minister had at the hospital, where she was like, you and I both know this, you guys have been doing this for too long. And then the staff tried to deny it and say, oh, the person was brought in dead. But the truth of the matter is, if you go back to the videos that have been circulating, you will see when they found her, she was still alive. There was life in her. She was struggling for life. In the vehicle, when they opened the door and they were begging them, you could still see her chest moving. So meaning she was breathing. So it's not like she was brought in dead.
No, she wasn't.
No, the videos are there.
She was alive.
Yes, she was alive. If only that was administered to her, if life, just, and like we said, even if it wasn't enough and she died, we would have known they did their best. They did their best. Instead of getting there and then y'all get into some kind of argument about a police report. Who does that?
That is so sickening. It's so sickening. And I'm glad that for Greatness, I guess it's sad that she's the one that is being used as an example, but she's still fighting after she dies. Because right now they're talking about it in places where they would never have known, in places where many people have died in obscurity because they are not known. But Greatness happened to be the one that was sent. It was unfortunate. Right now they're fighting for those things. And I pray that no other person needs to die needlessly because of the negligence of the police in fighting the crime and preventing it, at least reducing it to a reasonable extent, or the hospitals for abusing the law, because the law doesn't even exist. So they have no reason to even do it in the first place. The law has been promulgated, has been basically abolished. But they kept on going on with this old law, which I feel is just an excuse because they knew about it. And that is something that they need to start prosecuting people, not just warning them. This is not a warning. This is you broke the law. Unfortunately, you can't pass sentence retroactively. That's start making new laws and then prosecuting them. But at least let them go with the full one that is already there, which is 5 years in prison or 50,000 fine. Those are the things that are there, and that 50,000 fine should be it's nothing. I think at least the 5 years should be at least okay for anybody who does that, because it's just wrong. I think that it still should be within the purview of the judge. At least is under his own understanding to choose which one he decides I want to do it, because it's either or. It's not for the one being prosecuted to choose which one.
Right.
It's the judge that will decide I want 50,000 to be given or 5 years. They should taste 5 years in prison. At least that would help, at the very least, because that's negligence. That is just not. It's uncalled for, and we didn't need to go through all of this. And as for the crime, oh boy, it's been going on for too long. And you see, crime is something that everybody knows that if the police are really serious about such things, they would go.
Yeah.
There's a way you can reduce it, and that's the capital of Nigeria. We're talking about the capital seat of Nigeria.
Right.
Why can't it be done? It can. It can be done. So
because
I don't know.
I heard what they do is they move about with POS.
Yes.
And they demand for your ATM card, and they slot it in and say, we're transferring all your funds to our account. So you have to give them your card, and they have a POS to make use of that. Can that POS be tracked?
Like, they know what to do. Let's just add, they
know what to do.
They do.
They know what to do.
In all
I'll tell
honesty,
you, when you know that they know what to do is when the government wants to get something that favors them, they will find you. Yes, they will find you wherever you are.
Because
but when it's something that doesn't
money
favor
going to?
It's work. You see, the things are working, and I'm not trying to lay blame on it. I'm just trying to alert the officers wherever they are, because sometimes it's just negligence.
Yeah,
it's incompetence in their part, and because life just happened, and they just feel like, you know what, I don't really care, because compassion has left. And when you're not compassionate about something, we see it in hospitals where nurses treat you so badly.
Yeah,
because they don't just care. But the
They
same nurse
gets
to migrate to a foreign country and becomes a top nurse in a hospital. The same nurse, I'm not talking about two different people. The same nurse will be a top, because structures are in place. There are constraints within those laws that say, you know what, we have ethics and we have rules that you must guide. And those rules are not just there as decoration on the wall, they're enforced. If you do something wrong, this is what will happen to you, and you'll be prosecuted. Your license will be taken. You will never practice, or you go to jail, whatever it is. These are things that need to be. To get people to do the right thing is just that. But if you're expecting human beings, as a Christian, I don't believe that people are inherently good. They're evil from their. That's the nature of man is evil from his youth. So they will do something as long as they can get away with it. So men love the darkness and hate the light, lest the deeds will come to light. So that's something that we're used to. If we understand that men are evil by nature, then we can't do laws and expecting men to just get it on their own. No, you have to be able to enforce even the compassion to come out of people. But it has to come from a leadership perspective first.
Absolutely. I so love that. That is powerful. I love what you just said there, sir. So this is not impossible to be, straightened out. It's not impossible just because it's in Nigeria. It is possible. It can be straightened out. It's only that it's, like you rightly said, it's not being something that is of interest to them. But you know what? This time around, being that it's greatness, they have no choice. It will be something that they have to address. Absolutely. I love that.
Yeah. All right, greatness. This is a bye-bye video to you, Maggie. Safe trip. Thank you, darling. It was a delight meeting you. Awesome. You are sweeter in real life. And virtually. Love you and safe trip. Thank you, Miss Greatness. Peace out.
Listen, guys, we're going to have to bring this to a close now. We want to thank you so much for the amazing contact, you guys showing up for us here to just celebrate the life of greatness, even at her death. She's made such a huge impact in all of our lives. And while we are yet to hear, Blessing, I don't think there's been an announcement in regards to her funeral, right? I think that's going to be a while.
Yeah, because of the investigation going on.
Right. Yeah. How are her parents holding up? Because I know there was a press conference and her dad spoke. how are the family holding up? Best of you know.
They have to deal with what is at hand right now, because it has happened. It has happened.
Because they're
we
not
can't
in
question
Abuja,
God.
are they?
No, they are not. They're in Lagos.
They're in Lagos. So they flew in, didn't they?
Yes. The dad. It is really sad. It is really sad.
Wow.
It is really sad. It is really difficult for him, and we just pray. Each time we pray, we put the family in prayers, because that's their first daughter, that's their firstborn.
Yeah.
And it's not going to be easy for any parents out there. It's never going to be easy.
Absolutely.
And it's happened that this is happening at a point that she's preparing to go for her PhD, and you can imagine the emotions around it. So it's really sad, and all we can say is God should continue to comfort the family, the friends, and everybody close to Greatness, because it is a big one.
Yeah.
It is a big one.
Yeah.
It is a big one. We've
Absolutely.
lost someone so dear to us. We've lost a nation builder.
Lost a gem, a nation builder. Absolutely. We have. Listen, before we go, this is Nkechi Dillon that is saying this, and I think this is in response to what Mr. Namdi was saying. He goes, I am a Nigerian lawyer, but I can tell you that the Nigerian law is not effective in what it is legislated to do. There you go. There you go. Yeah, so there's some things that need to change, and it has to change now. For crying out loud, this is 21st century. This is 2023, people. 2023. Yeah, the Nigerian deserves better than this. Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, guys, this is it. We're bringing this to an end. Thank y'all for being here as we try to remember Greatness best we could. We all love her, the laughs, the words of wisdom, just her tenacity, her courage, her boldness. We felt it. We felt the impact. And even, as somebody said, even at death, she is still great, because here we are speaking about her, and we just thank God for her. And our consolation as believers, as children of God, is that we will see her on resurrection morning, you know. But in this time right now, I guess we have to say our goodbye. But we are not going to forget her. And like I said, blessing, God help me on my next trip to Abuja. I'm looking y'all up, you and TJ and everybody else. We must have shawarma, suya.
I know,
catfish,
right? Catfish.
Everything. And we must go to puppies. Listen, now I have learned to eat amala. Okay, they showed me how to eat amala on my last trip.
Greatness taught me how to eat amala.
So listen, we're gonna go to that joint and eat amala.
Puppies.
Yes, absolutely. So, guys, listen, Mr. Namdi Aboli, all the way in Canada. God bless you. Blessing in Nigeria. And myself, in London. We're signing off. We're saying thank you, guys. Lovely to have you here. And let's continue to remember greatness. Thank you so much, guys. God bless you. It's been amazing. See you on the next show.
Bye.
Bye, everybody. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.